Well, hello, General Hospital Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Thursday, February the 29th, 2024. Thursday, February the 29th, leap year. I won't be saying this date again for another 4 years. So, you want to know what my goal? My goal is I will still be daily recap lady February 29th, 2028. That's my goal, everybody. All right, let's dive right in. Not too much happening today. Okay. We get the aftermath of the prenup. Tracy um, had to explain, trying to explain herself to Brooklyn and Chase. And Brooklyn was all at her, all on her, and blah. So finally Lois says, wait a minute, let's calm down. Everybody whose name is not Brooklyn and Chase, leave the room. So they all leave the room because they were Brooklyn and Chase. The dresses were in the kitchen, and they go to that little family room, right? Everybody else. So Brooklyn was apologizing, and she goes, "I had no idea my grandma." Oh, she went off on how it was against her wishes. How could she? You know, that's not what she wanted. And so Chase says, "Brooklyn, I see the logic in it. I was just caught off guard because we had never discussed it. But I understand why your grandmother would do that, right?" And she's like, "But no, that's not important to me. With everything else we're going on, I mean, we've got wedding dresses here. We've got all of this. We don't even need to think about it right now." So Chase says, "But it must be addressed before the wedding." And so they, scenes in and out, and they come back, and he goes, "Brooklyn, nobody is more important to me than you. Having my father officiate, my brother stand up for me, and you standing across from me, ready to marry me, that's it for me. That's all I want. So signing this paper, I'm signing right now." So he signs, and she goes, "Chase, no." She goes, "First of all, you do not sign official documents this many pages without reading it first." Now, this is coming from Brooklyn, right? Who Link was able to get a whole bunch over on her, right? But I guess she learned from her mistakes, okay? And he looked at her. She goes, "No, no, no." So what they decided was, okay, they're both going to have their attorneys look over the paperwork. They're going to all come together, the attorneys and them, and the attorneys are going to explain the ins and the outs, and then they're going to make their decision, meaning sign, once they fully understand what's in. Because there may need some that she goes, "You might want to negotiate." Like, look, get some alimony out of me. But anyway, Lois and Tracy and were in that little family room, and Lois is saying, "This is not, you had no right to make decisions like that. This is Brooklyn's decision." Maxie was with them too. "Brooklyn's decision." And Tracy goes, "I have every right. Brooklyn is my granddaughter, heir to a lot of money. So yes, that's exactly what should have happened, because we can't let any interloper come in." And Lois looked because Gregory was walking in. And Tracy turned around, and she was like, "Oh my God, oops." Because she said, "Can't let any interloper," right? And so Gregory said, "Well, that's an interesting way to describe my son. I would have preferred something different, And Tracy's like, she's like, "Oh my God." And Gregory says, "I think I should leave." because, I'll let you all deal with this. I think I should leave. So he goes, to go to the front door, leaves the family room. They've got that foyer and then the door. And Tracy looks at Lois, and Lois was like, go after him, right? And actually, Lois asked Gregory who was his plus one, and he said Alexis Davis. He says, Alexis is a very good friend of mine. And Tracy looked like, oh, she's just a friend. And he goes, not Alexis, Tracy, who is lucky enough to be your plus one? And she goes, well, and Lois butts in, she's got so many offers, she hasn't decided yet, right? So and that part happened because what happened is Tracy, before Gregory asked her that, and Tracy followed him. Gregory, don't go. I want to apologize for what you heard. He goes, what? The way you described my son? I mean, there are other adjectives you could have used. I mean, outsider, something else he said. They still weren't great words, but better than interloper. And she goes, the wrong choice of words. But it's just marriages, look, with the best of intentions, they don't last, or some of them don't last. And finances have to be protected. And she says, and she's getting ready to go on, and he goes, I agree with you 100%. And she was getting ready to say something, and she stopped, and she goes, wait, what? He goes, I agree with you. It should be, especially with, the dynamics in play. I agree with you. The prenup should be there to protect everybody. And she goes, oh. He says, it was just your choice of words that you used to describe my son. I would prefer what? Future family? you know. So Lois comes out to the foyer and says, Gregory, look, come, don't leave. Come on back in. We've got a lot to talk about, a lot to do. So he goes, okay. And that's when she asked about the plus ones and all of that. And then she, jumped in to save face for Tracy, which I was shocked, right? So Brooklyn and Chase come in hand, arm in arm, saying, okay, we've talked it out, and we're not signing a prenup. And Tracy looked, she goes, today, we are each going to have our lawyers look at it, and then we'll get together and discuss it. So Tracy's like, and so then Chase comes over to Tracy and tells him how much he appreciates her, because that is something that does need to be addressed, and he understands it. So that whole thing was cute, and it all worked out, very, very well. We had Finn and Elizabeth, and trust me, I fast forwarded once I caught the gist of what was happening. Fast forward, fast forward, fast forward. Violet had made this wedding invitation. I guess she's got a little crush on a boy in kindergarten, although Violet's probably in the first grade. Crush on a boy in the first grade. And a little wedding announcement, And Finn took it to the 100th degree. And Elizabeth said, do you know how many crushes Cameron had before the first grade? So anyway, they chuckled and laughed about it. And then Finn started asking Elizabeth about, would she ever want to get married again? And they talked about it. It wasn't like, let's us get married, but her feelings on it. And she, you know what? I ain't gonna even lie, y'all. I don't know what she told him, because I didn't watch it. Fast forward. I don't care about Finn and Elizabeth. So anyway, what I did, kind of like the dynamics. My camera's blurry. What's going on, camera? Dante and Michael were talking, still talking about Dante saying, give dad some time, Michael. He goes, yeah, but the thing is, Sonny's in danger. And Dante says, and I told you I'll look out for him. And he goes, that is not feasible, So Sonny comes walking in and they look, and he looks at Michael. And Michael said something. He goes, oh, don't stop talking on my account. And he walks over to him, and Michael says, Dad. And he, you know, giving him the cold shoulder. He goes, Dad, I'm going to say it again. I'm sorry. No, no matter what, I am concerned about you. Yeah, but you weren't concerned enough not to try to turn me in and turn me into the. And so Michael says, I've already explained that. Okay, but perhaps it's time. No, Dante said, you know what, Michael? Why don't you take a little break right now? Like, let me talk to Son. Let me talk to Son. So Michael goes to the locker room, and Dante's like, Dad, Michael loves you. And he's concerned about you. Yeah, he loved me enough to put a plant in my organization to get information on me. That's betrayal. And Dante said, and no doubt he got that information. And he looked at Sonny and he said, and you're standing here right now. Because he realized he could not do it. So that's telling you something, Dad. No, well, just begin with. I mean, who's to say he won't decide to do something like that in the future? And Dante looked at him. He goes, you know what? Bottom line, we don't know what the future is going to bring, but you and Michael have been at odds before. And it doesn't change the fact that he loves you, you love him, and your family. Sometimes it gets messy with family, Dad. So I need you to think about what you want. Do you want to completely cut Michael out and all the rest of your family? Because that narrows down a lot, Dad. He goes, now I'm always going to be here for you. And, Christina will too, but we're talking about Michael's clan and the grandkids. Okay, go. And so Sonny's looking, and then Michael walks out. And Michael said, Dad, he goes, I'm leaving. He says, I'm going to say it again. Please be careful. I know how to take care of myself. Yeah, Sonny. And Michael's like, I was like, hey, whatever. I said it, and I'm going to say it again, and you'll be mad for another 2 months, and then I'll be yourself. Michael's rolling with the punches. So Cates decides he wants to come work out. Now, that gym is more of a boxing gym. It's not a 24-hour fitness kind of gym. I ain't never seen an elliptical or anything else, those weight machines, nothing, right? It's boxing. So where does John Cates feel like he need to go? To a gym he knows Sonny owns. And so when he walks in, Sonny, Michael, and Dante look at him and see now the focus for Sonny comes off Michael and it's on John. Because see, we got danger on all fronts. This FBI Fed is saying he's here to protect you, but we all know he also want to get you too. He might protect you from getting killed, but he still want to build a case against you. So he goes, what are you doing here, John? And he goes, it's a gym and I came to work out. He goes, oh, all the gyms you come to work out at. He says, and by the way, John, I hear you've been talking to my family. You've been at Carly's, my ex-wife's place of business, and you just showing up trying to ask her questions. Stay away from my family. And he goes, I'm an FBI agent, and it's my job to ask questions and talk to people. So I will talk to anybody in your family. I will talk to your guards, your employees, anybody I see fit in realms of this investigation. And Sonny looks at it. Isn't this, I think he called her Carrie. Isn't this Carrie's birth? Wait, Carrie's birthday is sometime around here. He goes, don't you ever call my call Karen by any pet name. Matter of fact, don't mention her name. So Sonny says, yeah. Her birthday's today. He knew it, right? And so he goes, yeah. So what you do, John? He goes, because you sure weren't there for her in your marriage. Divorced, cheated on her, divorced her. He goes, you weren't a good husband. I think it's Sonny. Goodness, you can't talk. But anyway, he goes, and as far as your brother is concerned, I was sitting here holding his hand up until the end. What'd you do? You showed up right before he died, stayed about an hour. That's all you could pull out for your brother. So see, you weren't a good husband, you weren't a good brother. And now Kate is pulling back and he goes to swing on Sonny, and Sonny does a little bob and weave because Sonny's in a boxing gym, John. And so Dante and Michael was standing on the other side of the boxing ring looking at Sonny talking to Kate. And they could hear because their voices were raised. And Michael's like, what's Dad trying to do? And Dante's like, ooh, So when Kate swung and missed, Michael runs over, Dante runs over. Hey, they break it up. And Sonny's, still saying something, taunting him. And Kate is like, you keep their names out of your mouth. And he goes, and so Dante's like, hey, and Michael's like, hey, first and foremost, you're supposed to be a Fed. And you're not supposed to let things escalate like this. And Dante has Sonny across the room say, Dad, what you doing? You cannot get in no altercation with an FBI agent. And Sonny said, last time I checked, Kate's was the only one throwing punches. And so John Kate snatches his stuff and he says something and he leaves. And Sonny says, and you all interrupted it. I was trying to get him to hit me because if he assaults me, he's going to get pulled off the case and sent back to New York. He says, first of all, John Kate should not be over this case. It's a conflict. He and our history goes back too far. He goes, I had a plan. He's like, and now you guys ruined it, right? So they're like, oh, whatever, Dad. And before I go to Jocelyn, Lois and Maxie talk to Tracy because Maxie says she feels Brooklyn wants to wear her great grandmother Lila's wedding dress. And Lois said, I can't be the one to bring up anything because it has to, I can't interfere and get the dress for her. She goes, Tracy has to want to give the dress to her. And so they wormed it, and Gregory was there. And so they made sure the way they worded it, that one thing Brooklyn really wants, but they feel she's afraid to bring it up, is she wants to wear Lila's dress. And Tracy's looking like, really? Because remember, Tracy had no value in wearing that dress. So anyway, Brooklyn and Chase are actually Chase left. It was just Maxie, Lois, and Tracy and Brooklyn. So Brooklyn is looking like, okay, Maxie's looking at the dresses, and Brooklyn's like, oh, gotta try on another one. And Tracy comes out from the back with the box. And she says, Brooklyn, I have something for you. And she comes out and she sits it down. And Brooklyn's looking like, is that? And so Tracy said, I did not wear my mother's dress because I didn't want to wear my mother's dress. This dress was not me. I realize I'm not meant to wear the dress, but I'm meant to share the dress. And I choose to share the dress with you. You can make whatever alterations you want to make. And I'm thinking, girl, she gonna have to. You almost need two of them. Because Lois, the pictures of Lois when she was flashing back to her and Ned's wedding, Lois is paper thin like Olivia, right? So, yeah, you gonna really need to alter that dress. But anyway, Brooklyn was tears in her eyes, and I got a little teary eyed, y'all, a little teary eyed. And so she jumped up and she said, "This is the best present you could have ever given me, grandmother. I wanted this so badly." So that was really, really cute. So now we have Jocelyn. Jocelyn is trying to tell Dex he's coming back to Port Charles. And Dex is telling her, Jocelyn, I cannot come back to Port Charles. Sonny can't kill you. Dex, he goes, the only reason Sonny didn't kill me in the Pine Barrens is your mother would not back down. It's because of your mother that I'm still alive. And so she goes, and it's because of my mother that he's not going to be able to kill you in the future. And he goes, Jocelyn, it doesn't work that way. Sonny may not try to kill me, but now I'm a target for Sonny's enemies. You will be in danger. You will be a target. Your family will be a target. He goes, Sonny did something he didn't have to do. He let me live. Oh, so you're supposed to be grateful to him? And he goes, like, actually, yeah, I am. He said, so no, I'm not going back to Port Charles. But this means, what about us? He goes, you know, are you saying that you wish I hadn't found you and that we wouldn't have had this time? He goes, Jocelyn, the one thing I hated about having to leave town is I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to you. Now I can say goodbye. And so but no, in 6 months, maybe a year, you can come back because everything would be, you come back. I mean, and he goes, I would never ask you to wait for me, Jocelyn, to put your life on hold for if I come back. He says, you have a bright future ahead of me, of you. You have to let me go. He goes, and I'm right. So you know what's going to happen. Well, for one, I kind of figured they were going to play up Joss and Adam, because look, Maurice is making way for his son on the show, right? Um, because quite frankly, Sonny could bring Dex back into his inner circle. I mean, realistically. But anyway, um, but I think they're gonna do an Adam and Jocelyn storyline. Because she gotta help everybody, and she was all over him as far as gotta help him, lived and breathed Adam. But she was the same way about Dex. Every time she had to nurse him back to health. So she's gonna let him go, and I think Dex might actually be off the show. I was hoping not. He actually grew on me. It took me quite some time for Dex to grow on me, but he did grow on me. So everybody, let's see how long Dex is gone. Has anybody in Comic Corner land heard that Dex's contract, the actor that's playing Dex, is his contract up? Because if his contract's up, he's gone, and that's the truth. Bottom line, Jason was Sonny's enforcer. Dex was just a seat warmer. That's all that was. So anyway, everybody, that's it for General Hospital today. Let's go to Comic Corner. Comic Corner. I am going to go from the bottom up today because I went from the top down yesterday. We've got almost 50 comments. I'm going to see how many I can read in this 10 minutes. Okay, here we go. Let me see. I don't want the same problems I had the other day, y'all, with my comments moving all over the place. Let me get these right. So we have Dacia. Dacia says Josh will end up, I think you forgot the word, getting Dex killed. She is so selfish. She's a selfish and ungrateful person. She'll getting themselves killed. Well, okay. Because she needed. I hope it is not Jason Morgan. It might be Morgan returning. His middle name is Stone. Denzel says facts 100. I can't stand this first Jocelyn Eden McCoy. I like the second one who played her. She was more calm and better. But always, if I'm the writers, just write her character off the show and go along with Dex. Yeah, let her go with Dex. Yeah, why not? No need to see Jocelyn. Angela says, yeah, but it's funny. You said the other Jocelyn was calmer, but you see, they only had her paired pretty much with Adam. I don't think that she's doing this out of selfishness. She's more or less doing it because she's always been under Sonny's protection, and she really hasn't grasped the reality of the situation that did I turn my little, that they're all in because she's always been protected. Living in a glass bubble in Sonny's town. And Angela says to Denzel, I love Eden. That temporary was flat and underacting, and all I could focus on was her widow's peak. Y'all, come on now. Angela says, I'm not so sure about that. Sonny is not her father, and she thinks she can control him. I know. She lives with 24/7 bodyguards, so she knows how things are. She wanted to have her cake, ice cream, and sprinkles. Yes, she did. Because Carly told her, Jocelyn, I want you to think long and hard what it would be if you got involved with Dex. This is not going to be what you think it's going to be. And oh, she just knew she could handle it. Oh, no. Here we go. Talked about Sonny, and the first thing you did was get with a mob boss's enforcer or bodyguard. Dacia says, I think it's Jason Morgan because see Carly and Donna together. Well, that didn't quite make sense. He is not going to shoot anyone, not even Sonny. I am says, I loved Morgan. I would love for Morgan to come back, but it's looking like it's either John Cates' son or John Cates, Jason, or Stone Cates. LOL. I realize he's not coming back, but Morgan with amnesia and the hate for crime bosses with the underlying issue of doubts of how his parents felt during the bipolar storyline would be great. I'm for prenups. It blows my mind that John and Scotty are bonding over hate of Sonny, but Scott has never met his grandson Stone. Oh, see? Isn't that interesting? Stone would have been John's grandson. I loved how Carly politely called John a hypocrite. Why are they trying to make Jocelyn and Dex a super couple? They didn't have the Jason Sam grit. No, they did not. None of the couples, including Luke and Laura, have a, have adventure bug. Um, let's see. And then Heather says to I am Karen is not Jagger's son's mother. Oh, Jagger cheated. And and Dex and Joss are a great couple. I am says didn't realize Stone wasn't Karen's son. See, I didn't know anything about that whole scenario. Um, I think that's because that was Port Charles, and I didn't really watch Port Charles. Not implying Dex and Joss aren't a good couple. They don't have the grit for adventure that Sam and Jason had. The difference is respect. Sam respected Jason's choices up until she had kids. Joss and Dex definitely have chemistry, but Dex is either going to choose Joss's way, or they're going to break up like Jason, Liz, Jason and Courtney, and actually Jason and Sam. Jason was a gangster and Sam was a con artist. Yeah. And that's what that bond was. She loved the thrill of danger. She did. Let's see. And then we have I am says Sonny has already forgiven Carly. You could tell he has. You could just tell. I am says Maxie was married to Patrick Drake's brother, Matt Hunter. He married Maxie from May of 2012 until their divorce in October 2012. Thank you for this history, I am. I went to prison for killing Lisa Niles. And then Linda says, I remember Matt because he was a doctor too. See, now I kind of do remember that because I remember the evil Lisa Niles. Okay, wow. I just Maxie and her to do. I don't pay never did pay too much attention to. Shannon says it's going to be Morgan, Carly, and Sonny's son. Linda says I think Johnny Zakara is an ex-husband of Maxie's. You know what? Was she married to Johnny? Tanya says, yep, they got a daughter named Harper. Wait, in real life, oh, in real life, they are married, but not on the show. Oh, okay. I'm like, well, I don't remember her marrying Johnny because Olivia really was Johnny's thing. Oh, she loved her some Johnny. That was a little cougar thing going on. Denzel says, not gonna lie to you, daily recaps. I'm not for Dex and Josh's scenes at all. I liked it. The scene between Sonny and Carly. She's always gonna stay loyal to Sonny no matter what. But what got me mad about Tracy was she signed a prenup without Brooklyn's permission, or she actually commissioned it. She didn't sign it, right? Tracy needs to stop ruining BLQ's life. I'm just glad Lois put Tracy in her place and BLQ had the right to be upset, period. Chase would never marry BLQ and go after her money. Or Trace or the Quartermains or the Qs. Tracy is definitely was wrong, was at wrong fault, but at the same time, I understand why Tracy did it in the same time, though. Okay. Great recap, a great daily recap. And then we have user GB says, happy Jocelyn has sex at the safe house. Oh, really? Love Joss and Dex moment together. Didn't like Dex saying goodbye. I hope it's not true. I love Sunny and Carly at the park scenes. A great Maurice and Laura. Uh, love was in the air between them. She cares about Sunny, and he has her back to great, lovely, wait, has her back to great, lovely moments back to back, be, about business and family and caring. Sunny and Carly forever. Well, I've always liked Sunny and Carly, but I think it'll take some time, a good while before they put them back together again. They'll end up back together again. Um, UZDB says, love Dante and Michael, great brothers, talking about their dad. Sunny, uh, loved it. Two great actors. Tracy should never have gotten the prenup for Brooklyn and Chase. Brooklyn tells Chase it was Tracy doing and wait, moving on with the wedding. Okay. And then Angela says, this is standard procedure for which rich, wealthy, and legacy types of families to do, especially when they marry down. That's right. Instead of marrying in, meaning within the same society. No, that is so true. It is 100% standard practice. All right, everybody, that's 11 minutes. So actually 11 and a half. That's it for Comment Corner. Comment Corner. I will be back tomorrow with another daily recap of General Hospital.